Hi guys, Thogrey here for a new video, and this video will be a 3v3 tier list video for range specs, Season 3 of Shadowlands, and of course for patch 9.2, and we are going to discuss about the current meta. I'm going to make future videos for tier lists for the future metas. For now, the meta is a bit unchanged, although they nerfed a few specs. Doesn't actually matter on the long run. Yeah, if you want to check my previous videos for melee, healers, tier list for 2v2, you can all check that out and let me know what you think. Also, let me know in the comments below what you think about the tier list right now, the meta, and the meta analysis that is going to follow right now. And let's jump right into the Trust for meta analysis. So, like I said, always bracket. Now it's 3v3 and we are talking about 2100 and more. Some representation of specs are not accurate. Like for example, Shadow Priest. I don't know about you guys, but in EU at least, I'm not seeing a lot of Shadow Priests. So this number is a bit skewed because I feel like a lot of people are disconnecting as a Shadow Priest to do like farms, or they do raids, or they do mythics, or they are for dailies, for example. So I feel like that number is not correct. Although it's very strong Shadow Priest, but for the wrong reasons. It is actually the ideal support class, but for Night Fae. If you're not playing Night Fae, you are actually gimping your team. Like if you are playing with an assassination rogue, you are not going to reset the vendettas. Why would he play with you? He can also play with a fire mage. It would be the same. So that's the issue I have with Shadow Priest. They are actually interesting to play, but unfortunately the damage doesn't follow. The dots do little to no damage. A bit the same like Affliction Warlock. They have the same problems. If you're playing like private servers, for example, I'm not proud of it, but I'm still playing it. Wrath of the Lich King. If you're playing Affliction Warlock or a Shadow Priest and you're fully dotting someone, you can die. And if that guy goes AFK or doesn't heal himself, he is going to die or follow you in your grave, because people are scared of dots there. But here, if you're fully dotting someone, but you're not buffed up, or you have no CDs, or you don't have the haste buff, or whatever you have, they can go AFK and survive it, because a fully dotted person without CDs is not going to die. And in Warlock it does, in Kata it does. So it's a bit skewed. I feel like they need to change direction. I hope in Dragonflight they will do, but I have no hope for that. Although I like Affliction Warlock more than the Destruction Warlock, for example. It's a bit sad to play Affliction Warlock, especially with the tier set, which is not that super good for us in PvP. So fire mages are still popular. Very simple. Fire mages are super interesting because of their association with RMP. Fire mage can also play with a Fury Warrior. They can also play with a Windwalker. They can play with a Feral Druid, although it's less popular. They have loads of options. They can also play with the Destruction Warlock. Then it's very aggressive and can always kill someone every minute or so instead of a Necrolord a Covenant ability that can give you a win condition. Fire Mage can always have a win condition with Combust, like Dragon Breath, Polymorph, Combust. Someone is going to die, or they are going to run away towards the Destruction Warlock with the 3 Chaos Bolts. Destruction Warlock being that high is actually insane. It's like the class is one of the least played classes in the history of World of Warcraft. It was always Warlocks and Druids being dead last. Until a few years where druids are more popular now, but in vanilla, in TBC, in previous expansions, druids were not popular for PvP at least. For PvE and farming, it was always popular, but for PvP participation, it was always one of the least played classes. The same for Warlock actually. Warlock was actually something that you wanted in your raids, something you wanted in your PvP matches, something, but you couldn't find it. But now we have that many Destruction Warlock because they trinket the tier sets and the association with the end of the expansion being a stat stick for the destruction warlocks and the casters in general makes it very, very likely that it's busted and will get nerfed. I hope they will nerf the borrowed powers. So for example, the trinket, they need to nerf it, and I hope maybe the tier set, and I hope they are not going to touch chaos balls, because before this patch nothing changed. The damage is quite the same as previous patch, but previous patch they were stoppable because you could always silence them, interrupt them, stun them, fear them, run away from them when they are bursting. And when they are not bursting, they are not actually very scary, but now they have a burst with the infernal, the blasphemy. I'm going to discuss it a bit more clearly when I'm going to put those classes into a tier list. Frost mages, very strong, also very big association with warlocks. The same problem, they have one trinket that gives them a CC break, like a next CC break, but also they will always have blink to go out of stuns. So it makes it very obnoxious to play against when you are a class with loads of CC that you cannot use. Boomies, good, I guess. I feel like it's not very strong by itself, but it is strong by association. And they still are very cyclone-y, botty-ish. And also Rude Beam, still being very good. So yeah, I feel like the number is a bit skewed because I feel like I'm not really seeing a lot of boomies at that rating, but maybe it's only me. BM hunters, probably the best hunter spec in trees ish for jungle and for Thugcleave and KFC. Yeah, it's still good, I guess, but I feel like it's getting outscaled, and still Craven Stratagem is still very good. I feel like hunters are one of the counters to caster cleaves, but they need to play it right, and also go for the mage instead of the healer. You trap the healer, and then possible to kill someone. So interesting spec, but not very gothy, I would say, like in twos. Elemental Shaman, very good. I just feel like it's underplayed because it's a Shaman spec. Very, 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 very interesting if they are going for the crit build. I'm going to discuss it in a future guide. For information, I'm playing Warlock, although a little bit less because I'm playing an Affliction main, and now I feel like I need to play Destro, and I don't want to play Destro. Warlock, a Fury Warrior, Arms Warrior, although I play more Fury at the moment. I'm a Shaman main, Enhancement and Elemental, both, and I'll also both play the crit build I'm going to discuss in a future video. It's exciting and you're going to like it, I hope so. And I feel like Haste is a overestimated stat for Shamans. I'm going to discuss it in a future video. And I'm also maining DK. Then we have the H-Pala that I'm playing, but I'm not going to make a video about it because I'm not really a healer main. And also a balanced druid alt, I guess, for farming. But I want to try in PvP how it can be in twos and in threes. But I'm gonna make videos about all those classes, so be sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to not miss those guides. Always try to be noob friendly, but also intermediate for people that are actually playing those classes and they want tips and tricks. Alright, so Demonology Warlocks has been a bit fallen out of the meta because of their nerfs, but also Destruction are Demonology Warlocks but better. Also, Demonology, they suffer because of their pets. If the pet died, they are really squishy, and people just know that pets die really quickly in AoE. If you're playing versus Turbo, your pet is going to die because of just the AoE of Spear of Bastion and Chain Harvest. The pet is non-existent, and then once you have to hardcast a 6-second cast time for the rest of your pet, the summon, it's actually insane. I feel like they should be at 4 or 3 seconds, but hey, I'm not a Blizzard dev. Marksmanship Hunter, 69, nice. They are actually very strong by itself, but it's easily stopped in trees. So that's why I'm probably not valuing as much marksmanship. But they are still very good in jungle and also in Thug, although I feel like in Thugcleave you will prefer a Survivor Hunter. But that's my opinion. Arcane Mage, underpowered. please don't take the cheese meta that is going on with Mitch Jones, Xaryu, and Finruki. All good mages, perfect mages. I would say rank 1 status, but Arcane Mage is not in a good state, so you can still play it like Protection Warriors. You can still play it, but they are nowhere near meta and nowhere near average actually. So I'm going to discuss it right now in the tier list. This video has been already very long for the meta analysis, but I wanted to discuss in depth about the meta. So the tier list will begin right now. We will discuss about all those classes in more detail, but I'm going to try to make the video a bit less longer than a few other videos, but it's hard because I like to develop my ideas. So we're going to start with Affliction, and I'm actually an Affliction main. You can say everything about Affliction. You can be annoyed to get killed. You can be annoyed because they are actually annoying to dispel, etc. But for real, they are average. Well, you just need to compare it to other casters. Affliction is easily stopped. They have only one school, it's Shadow, and one nature school, which is Soul Rot, but you don't need to kick Soul Rot, you need to dispel it. So if you see Soul Rot, your first instinct should be dispel the main target. Dispel the main target. Then the problems are gone. Even if they have Dark Soul, even if they have Dark Glare, even if they have Rapid Contagion, or whatever, you can dispel it. If you are a paladin, you bubble dispel, or you sacrifice not sacrifice dispel because you could kill yourself, but you get the gig. If you're a restoration druid, you dispel, and then if you're not safe, just do tranquility, because they will go for you. But Holy Priest, they can dispel it for free with Greater Fate. If there are so many classes that can actually counter Affliction Warlock that it is not worth it to main it. I'm a main, although I'm really crying every time I'm playing. I'm sweating and often not mentally exhausted when I'm playing Affliction Warlock. If I'm playing 2 hours of Affliction Warlock, I feel like I've played enough for a week. It's that bad. Especially in 2s, but in 3s it's a bit better. I would say that you have better comps. I've overestimated Affliction Warlock in 2s, but in 3s I'm not going to make the same mistake. For me it's average. It has great comps though, but it is because of their comps that they are actually good. But by themselves they are really no threat. It's like this. It's the same as a Shadow Priest, to be honest. Arcane Mage, unplayable. Please, if you want to get rank 1, don't play Arcane. You could get rank 1 with Arcane, but you've played Fire and Frost until rank 1 and then you switch to Arcane. That's my opinion about Arcane. They should change it because it is one of the funniest classes to play, but the power that you have as an Arcane is little to zero. Luckily, the Trinket can save them, but why play Arcane when you have Frost and Fire available? It's the same as Affliction. Why would you play Affliction when you have Destruction available for trees? Even with an Elemental Shaman, I feel like the Elemental Shaman is more deadly with a Destruction Warlock. Especially with the Blasphemy having no stun DR for some reason. BM Hunters, for me they are average. I'm not going to say that they are maybe better than Affliction. They have one good comp. It is jungle. I might be biased, but BM hunters are really not that great. They are getting outpaced by other classes. They might be annoying with Craven stratagem. They might counter you as a spec class because of legendaries, because of their way of playing, but those pets are dying really quickly because of cleaves, and at the moment it is a cleave meta. Caster cleaves and melee cleaves are actually prevalent. With RMP, I guess jungle versus RMP is quite of a skill matchup, although in AWC you saw was often than not win versus jungle cleaves, jungle in general. But they are, for me, average. I would say they are close to meta, but they have like a little bit of a difference between the above step of the tier. Like, it's not meta for me. Demonology Warlocks, I would say it's average too. Probably better than Affliction Warlock because they have capacities to kill people by themselves without getting dispelled. It's long to set up. it's easily countered or easily kited when you're bursting, but it is still scary, I would say. But again, why would you play those two specs if you have Destruction Warlock, which is for me god tier? Um, it hurts to say as a Warlock main that my spec is god, from my second spec is god tier, but they are god tier for the wrong reasons. It's not because of their class or talents or scalability. It's because of the trinkets being stupid, associated with another caster like a frost mage or elemental shaman or a boomy or a fire mage, and the tier set making stunts not DR. Like they should DR, like the diminishing return from stunts should be applied on blasphemy, and it will change a lot of things. Also, I feel like the power of Chaos Balls is for me alright. You can say it's maybe unfair, but a lot of classes can hit for 40, 30k, even for 50ks. Like it's happening. Someone that is popping Combust, even though it's not written 30k Pyroblast, you're going to get hit for the same amount of time, the same amount of damage. So it's also very strong. They need to nerf trinkets, they need to maybe adjust a bit of the tier set with the stun DR, for example, and probably make it that the blasphemy doesn't have a correlation with Reign of Chaos talent. Then maybe it can be adjusted, or they make the shard regeneration of blasphemy half as big as the real inferno, so at least infernal, so that at least you're not spamming chaos balls all the time because you have a blasphemy or an infernal up. That would be my changes for Destruction Warlock, which I could discuss in a future video because I want to discuss the Warlock class in general, and maybe it would happen. Elemental Shaman, I feel like they are meta. They are very strong, very scary. Also, they're not just don't play Kyrian. It's strong because it's cheesy, but you don't need that. You can play Necrolord being tanky and being good with Lava Bursts, and very good with their set. And if you're playing crit, you are going to crit those lightning bolts very big. And if you're playing with a Holy Priest with stun, you can ask your Holy Priest to stun your target. Lightning bolt, lasso, he's dead. He's dead. So, very strong, I like it. Like, when I'm talking about lightning bolt, I'm talking about stormkeepers, not normal lightning bolt with puppy damage. Fire mage, god tier. I would say they are both god tier. It's very top heavy casters. Fire mage is in front, I would say. Yeah, it's like this. Fire mage is very strong. They got nerfed with their barrier, but it's not that makes them strong. It makes them unkillable though, but it's not that makes very annoying to kill. What makes very annoying to kill is because they cannot be shut down, and they cannot be CC'd reliably. And when you're like a fury warrior and you're charging, you're popping the trinket. There's a lot of things that makes it very annoying to play versus a fire mage as, say, a rogue, warrior, even a DK. It's annoying to play, and it's because of the trinket. So if you nerf the trinket, I think all the classes will go a bit lower, and it will be still a melee meta. I feel like a melee meta is probably for the best, meta-wise. I'm not really a pure melee player, but I like to be a Affliction Warlock again. I like the casters, but I don't like the meta around casters because caster meta, caster cleaves versus caster cleaves is really a snooze fest. It's like PvE. You don't really CC that much. You try to see who gets bursted first. It's probably fun for the healers because the healers need to always heal like this. But yeah, they need to change something with the trinket. I've said it would be nice if they put an internal CD on the CC, that when you pop the trinket, you get the 15-second buff. Then you put the like blanket CC, I would say, to remove the buff, and then you can CC him again, but it will not pop for the next time. So then you have like a window where you can chain CC someone without being punished. But now chain CCing someone, you get punished, and especially if you're not using the right CC, then they have like a interrupt and silence protection, and that's really bad versus warlocks and casters in general. Marksmanship is probably the only underpowered spec. Not they are not unplayable. They are playable for sure, but they are not in a great state for trees. I guess people will just be mad when I'm saying that. But when you get killed by a marksmanship hunter, it often revolves around their tier sets and being cheesy. And if you're playing the the best covenant actually for marksman without being cheesy, then you don't really one-shot people. You kill because of an association of CC and having a kill shot proc and having an aim shot double tap. All these things combined makes that you can kill someone, but it's unreliable since if people are sitting on you, you're not going to actually pop with your aim shots. And often than not, you go for high haste, so your damage will be a bit lower than the people are actually going for mastery. And the mastery build is the cheesy build, and the haste build is more for competitive gameplay, I would say. Boomies. Are they meta or are they average? Look, for me, casters in general are meta. That's why I'm going to put Boomies on meta, because they have great association. They have actually great utility, great CC. This associated with the possibility to go Kyrian, the possibility to go Necrolord if you're playing with an Affliction Warlock, possibility to go even Convoke if you want, even though I feel like Convoke is not that good with the legendary. And also they are hitting a lot of pets, and with the amount of Necrolord casters, melees, I feel like you're hitting Kevin more often than the other players, so Boomies are meta, although I feel like it's close to average. And Shadow Priest is probably the second meta class behind Elemental, and the only reason is because Night Fae is actually very strong combined with Assassination Rogues, combined with other classes. And their damage is not aimed, their damage is not meta, their damage is probably underpowered, but their utility makes them god tier, and so there is a in between that makes them meta. They are still desirable for a lot of classes, Affliction, even with a Boomy, even with an Elemental, even with a Destruction Warlock, Fire Mage, Frost Mage for God Comp. You can play with an Assassination Rogue, you can play with a Subtlety Rogue, although I feel like Assassination Rogue is probably better. They have loads of good comps, but they're not that good and they don't feel good. Like, it's the same as Affliction Warlock. The dots don't do damage, and when they don't do damage, it feels actually super annoying to play with and against. I'm not scared when I'm playing versus a Shadow Priest. They have huge utility, but their damage is not scary by itself, and they need like a second class to actually perform, and that makes it not that interesting to play as a Shadow Priest. They really suffer about the double legendary combo being super bad, but also the tier set is not that good. It's a combination of all those things. Yeah, I feel like a Shadow Priest has probably more success to go Holy Priest and go Night Fae. Would be the same. So, thank you for watching this video. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the tier list. Also, subscribe to the channel if you want to check out new videos, new updates about the meta, tier lists, guides, PvP tips and tricks. I'm actually building a montage video. It takes some time because I want to make it good and also not get copyright strike. So it's a very hard process to actually find good music and not be silly, and yeah, it's a combination of all those things. So thank you for watching. Have a great day, and we see each other on the comment section below, or in Reddit, or on wall forums. And be sure to be safe. See you until the next video.